Hi, my name is Elio Costa, developer of the FLEKS Hybrid Model. Today I'm going to explain you the definition of value and how you can measure it. Value is something very important for organizations and also for ourselves because you always want to deliver some value for someone. And this is why I'm bringing this subject right now. There are many definitions of value in the market, in the literature, but I'm going to explain you three different ones. The first one comes from the lean management. In the lean management, value is something that your client is willing to pay for. If the client doesn't want to pay for something, you should not do it. So let's come for an example. Let's suppose that you go to a fancy restaurant and then you order a meal in a dish like this. And then the waiter comes to you and says, "Do you want to save $5 if I bring your meal in a plate made of plastic?" Remember, you are in a fancy restaurant. So, no, I want to keep the regular one. And then he asks you again, "Okay, but do you want to have your meal served in a plate made of gold?" And then you ask, "How much does it cost?" $15 more. And then you said, "No, keep the regular one." What do you infer in this situation? You infer that the plate made of gold doesn't mean anything for you. You don't want to pay for it. But the regular one made of porcelain, it's worth. So you want to pay for it. You don't want a plate made of plastic to in a fancy restaurant. So this is the difference. This is the definition of value, something that you want to pay for. Okay. The second definition of value comes more for a context of projects or something like this. But in order to understand this situation, the second definition, you must understand first three basic concepts that I'm going to explain you right now. The first one is the concept of output. Output is something that you produce, that you build. It can be a bridge, it can be a software, it can be a house, it can be a road, it doesn't matter. It's something that you produce in your project. The outcome is when you use this and you can do something now that you couldn't do before. For example, now I can, if you don't have a car, for example, you build a car, you buy a car, now you can go buy cars. So this is the difference. What I can do now that I could do before is the use of the output that you created. And what is the benefit? Benefit is what you gain by the use of the output that comes from the outcome. For example, I can reduce costs, I can save money, I can make more money, I can save time, I can have more market share, increase my market share, or increase my security. It doesn't matter. What you gain with this output that you're creating right now, that is your outcome when you're using it. And then we come to the second definition of value in this context is the value. Value is the relation or the ratio between the benefit and the cost that you're investing to produce and create this benefit. So this ratio between the cost and the benefit is the second definition of value. Let's come for another example. Let's suppose that you live in a place like this, almost a paradise, and then you have to cross the river every day. So you get wet, it takes a lot of time, you have to swim or go to a canoe, rowing like this. It takes some time and you always get wet. And then you decide to create a project to build a bridge. And this bridge is the output. And what is the outcome? The outcome is what you can do right now that you couldn't do before. Now you can cross the river walking or by bike or even by car. This is the outcome, what you can do right now. And what's the benefit? You won't get wet anymore. And you save time because you can cross the river in 1 minute or seconds. This is the benefit. And what will be the value? Let's suppose that a bridge costs around $100. So it's worth investing $100 to build a bridge and not to get wet and to cross the river faster. But let's suppose that a bridge costs $1 million and then you said, well, $1 million not to get wet and just to save 2 or 3 minutes. No, it doesn't work for me. So this is the definition, the second definition of value. Okay. But you can measure value in many different ways, many different ways. You can measure values in a value in a qualitative way or a quantitative way. Regularly in a financial market, for example, you are trying to measure investment in project or initiative. In a quantitative way, you can measure value, for example, in net present value or return on investment or internal rate of return. There are many ways you can do that. But I'm bringing you right now here a different way of measure value, just like we do on the FLEKS model when you're trying to measure value in a qualitative way. Let's come for example. This board was created to be collaborative and very easy and visual way to do this because in the FLEKS model we use many visual things to work collaboratively. In this board made of four quadrants here, we have the two axes. The vertical axis is the benefits, and it's go to low benefits and very high benefits. In the horizontal axis, you have the high costs, and then you have the low costs. The axes are inverted. Intentionally. The first quadrant here, you have an initiative, for example, with a high cost and low benefit. And this it doesn't it's not recommended. It doesn't worth to do it. In the second one here, you have a high benefit and a low cost. It's highly recommended. So this is the thing. If your initiative is placed in this quadrant, go for it. But in this quadrant and this one, and this one, you have to think about it. Because in this one, you have a high benefit, but also a high cost. In this one, you have a low benefit, but also a low cost. Is it worth doing this? I don't know. I have to think about it. Okay, so these are how you can measure something in a board like this, visual with your team. Let's go, for example, if you have to choose something between initiative one or initiative two. In this context, you can say that both have the same benefit, but different costs. It's obvious that your best choice in this situation will be number two, because they have the same benefit, but number two is cheaper than number one. So the ratio between the benefit and the cost or in initiative two is favorable. So it's better to invest in this situation. But when you have just two to make a choice, it's easier like this. But the problem is when you have lots of them. So the things get more complicated. So you have to make a balance between them. You have to choose between one, two, and three, and four, and you have to find something more easier to help you to make decisions. Okay, so when you're trying to do this, you have to consider something else that is missing in this context. Is the context of balance. What is balance here? Balance is when you're trying to find out not only the best or the worst and rank them. You are trying to find something that is called balance. That's the best combination, the best set of initiatives that brings you more value. It's not a question of just selecting one or two. You are trying to make the best set. But to understand the third concept that I'm going to bring you today, there's something missing in this context. The third definition of value, it's what we are doing in the FLEKS hybrid model. But to understand this third definition, you must understand that the third variable, not only the benefit and the cost, must be considered in this context. This is the definition of risk. In the FLEKS model, we always consider the value definition with three variables: the benefits, the costs, and the risks. The level of uncertainty that you're trying to manage to deliver the value. This is the difference. Let's return to the board again. And now, instead of having just one color, we have three different colors. The sticky note with a green color is something that is very certain. The chance of having success in this initiative is very high. The sticky note with a yellow color, the level of uncertainty is medium. Let's say we have It can be or can be not. So you have a level of uncertainty that you can handle, but it's something that you have to deal with. But the third color, the red one, if you have an initiative with a red color, so the level of uncertainty is very high. So you have to think about it. Um, so this make the whole difference because if you have just one color, you can be confused about which one I have to choose. But when you insert this concept of uncertainty in your decision-making process, some things may have difference. Let's return for that question over again. Here we have a situation again, number one, number two, with the same benefit and different costs. But now, initiative number two, we have a red color. The level of uncertainty is very high. And the initiative number one, despite of having a higher cost, level of uncertainty is very low. So what would be your choice right now? Is it again number two? Maybe not. So we have to think about it, especially when we have lots of them. So you have to think about the best combination, not only regarding the benefits and the costs, but also the risks involved in them. And what's your definition of value here? Is the best set that brings you more value with less risk as possible. And to do that, it's not enough just to place your sticky notes and make the decision. You have to manage the situation. Sometimes you can reduce your costs with some actions. Sometimes you can minimize your risks. Sometimes you can increase your benefits. And so you have to think about what you can do to manage this board and create another set of positions to make your final decisions. Okay, this is the definition of value in the FLEKS model. You have to find the best set of initiatives that brings you more value with less risks as possible in the context and having a balance in the situation. These are the how we measure value in the FLEKS model. It doesn't matter if it's qualitative or quantitative. I just bringing you some way to do it qualitative and collaborative way. So what you have learned today? There are many definitions of value. The first one comes from the lean management, which the what's your client is willing to pay for. The second one is the basic definition when you have the ratio between the benefit and the cost. And the third one is the ratio between benefit and cost, but considering the level of uncertainty. If you're interested in value management and something else regarding our hybrid approach, you can download our guides for free in our websites. It's for free. Everything is for free. You have a lot of canvas. You have a lot of information on the FLEKS model guide. Okay. I hope you have liked this video today. And if you are interested in this, just go to our website and have a lot of things that you can do. You can download many information. Everything is for free. See you in the next video.